Planned Parenthood. Some people say that it defends the rights of low-income families and women, and other people say that it threatens the sanctity of life and threatens to set the entire country off course. Today, we're going to dive into Planned Parenthood and look into its rocky past and shaky future. As you may already know, Planned Parenthood was formed in 1916 by Margaret Sanger. Now, if you haven't heard of Margaret Sanger recently, she's kind of has a double personality, so to speak, in terms of media. Half the people tend to feel that she's a feminist hero. She has an award named after her, the Margaret Sanger Award. Famous recipients include Hillary Clinton. But a lot of other people look into her past and see her connections with the Ku Klux Klan and other anti-African American organizations. And mainly the Ku Klux Klan, in which she spoke with, I believe, the New Jersey branch as well as the women's branch. And a lot of people try to say that this was just a mistake because in a letter afterwards to a friend, she wrote that it was one of the weirdest experiences of her life. But if you look into Margaret Sanger, she clearly has a history of anti-African American.
She's a flagrant racist, really.
But a lot of people still don't believe it. So we're gonna go through a few quotes, and we'll let you decide. These are well-publicized quotes. We'll include multiple links to them so you can believe us, because a monitor on r/politics told us that we weren't as reputable as, quote, the Huffington Post. So we're gonna make sure to prove it to you guys this time. And I just want to put out a disclaimer: these are very blatantly racist, and we in the show no way endorse this kind of talk. And I kind of feel uncomfortable saying most of these, to be honest. In the first quote, she stated that her and her colleagues did not, quote, want the word to go out that they want to exterminate the Negro population.
And when she talks about extermination, she means through abortion, right?
Yeah, because now this was said in...
And Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, this was said in 1939, well after the formation and about around the time of the rise of Planned Parenthood.
Right, and she was basically the architect behind it.
And that's kind of disgusting. She went on to say that they should, quote, hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through the religious appeal. Now, that sounds to me like she's attempting to pay off ministers, people of the church, to spread her idea of abortion.
Right.
Which is disgusting.
Basically throw a wool over everyone's eyes by putting out a couple, black ministers to gain support.
And now later on in her life, she referred to impoverished people as, quote, a dead weight of human waste.
And she is recognized by the progressive and liberals.
I find that a group of people who stand for the idea that a country is judged by the standing of its by the treatment of its worst off citizens. Right. So I guess she just wants to kill them off so that the worst off citizens aren't. Okay, our biologists out there will be familiar with something called natural selection, and normally this applies to the animal world and to early humans and evolution. Now, she referred to birth control as, quote, nothing more or less than weeding out the unfit, in response to handing it out to low-income neighborhoods.
And just making sure they don't reproduce, to basically kill them off.
That sounds like China with the forced sterilization.
Yeah.
It's just it's just post-sterilization, I suppose. Okay, now that we kind of see she has a history of not liking impoverished people, she went on to refer to them as human beings who should have never been born at all. Now, I for one, I have a partial religious background. I feel that all human beings should have been born and have a purpose.
Right.
And now, I want to find some low-income person who truly feels that they should never have been born at all. Because that's not right. I don't think anyone should ever be referred to as not having a right to be born at all. Now that we saw a little bit about its founder, let's look into what they do today. Well, since 1973, abortion has reduced the African American population by over 25%.
Now, 1973 was the year of Roe v. Wade, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And more African Americans have died from abortion than have from AIDS, accidents, violent crimes, cancer, and heart disease all put together. since that time. Remember, before 1973, they were primarily handing out birth control aids until they got the right to do this, which is how Planned Parenthood has its name now, and primarily what it exists for in most people's opinions. But let's hear your side of that.
So today, why you hear a lot of people calling for the defunding of Planned Parenthood is because Planned Parenthood receives $540.6 million of taxpayer money. Now, this is federally funded, and the federal government basically says, we give you the okay to perform your operations. Which, even if you are for abortion, you should still be alarmed by what this organization is doing, because there are a ton of leaked videos that are just, to me, sickening. And this is what the taxpayer is working for and giving their money towards. Now, there was a leaked video that a Planned Parenthood member was talking to a young teenage girl who turned out to be an investigator. And the Planned Parenthood member was basically promoting bondage and sadism to a young teenage girl. And this is only one leaked video that we know of, so this could have been going on for years for all we know. And this is what they're promoting to, our youth.
And this was an undercover agent. What if no one had ever gone undercover?
Exactly.
It goes to show if someone's that open,
and someone who is so young as young as 15 or 13, they're going to take advice from an adult very seriously.
Being encouraged to have sex is one thing, and being encouraged to take it to risky and dangerous means is another.
Well, yeah, I mean, you already see this through corporate America and, all the stuff that they put out, TV shows and magazines, and now you have someone actually directly talking to a young female teenager.
Oh, the over-sexualization of women in this country is downright scary.
It's disgusting.
A lot of times people try to talk about banning abortion as an attack on women's rights, but does forcing sex on the women, is that not more of an attack on their rights?
Right.
Their right to make a decision about what to do with their bodies?
Yeah, and this is an organization that operates, or carries out, really, over 327,000 abortions, and that was in 2014. And these abortions account for $150 million of their revenue. So what the problem is for me, I mean, yeah, Roe v. Wade was a Supreme Court decision that I don't agree with, but it is the supreme law of the land. My thing is, through the Obamacare Act, we now have it forces taxpayers and churches to basically pay for contraception.
Why? And even a minister, part of his salary that goes to taxes is going to something he doesn't agree with, and in his mind is murder.
Yes, and the Affordable Care Act is something that Planned Parenthood was all about, and they were joyful when this passed, and I just think them handing out contraception and all this so-called advice to young girls is what really my problem with them. And but people you'll hear the left and people like the Young Turks say that if you defund Planned Parenthood, then how are people gonna get mammograms and all the other services that Planned Parenthood provides? But there are so many community-led organizations that are federally funded and carry out the same exact operations as Planned Parenthood. So I feel like this is such a false argument that the left and the progressives are trying to put out there. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is not something that I want I don't work hard during the week and give money to this organization. This is corrupt. This is just morally disgusting to me.
I don't understand why it can't be separate things like contraception from something like abortion. When I can see a slight argument that contraception can be for the greater good, but rather something as much as abortion, which is an expensive procedure, and arguably no one needs unless their life's threatened by the pregnancy, which is a during birth procedure.
Right, and most people are behind that. But
what I'm saying is that doesn't occur in a Planned Parenthood. That occurs during once you get to the hospital and they realize there's a problem.
Right, and here's the last point I want to make. This is the latest video that came out about Planned Parenthood basically dismembering human fetuses and selling their body parts. And this is, first of all, this is illegal. This is, one of our U.S. federal laws. It states the sale or purchase of human fetal tissue is a federal felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison or fine up to $500,000. Federal law also requires that no alteration in the timing or method of abortion be done for the purposes of fetal tissue collection. So, and this has been going on for years, that we're now finding out. And there are reports that that doctors are saying they had conversations about maximizing their profit on selling, fetal tissue and different types of organs like hearts. So it's just really just another corrupt government agency, and I think full defunding of it should definitely happen ASAP because it has a horrible past, as we went over, and it has an even worse present.
And now, a lot of people are claiming the video is doctored and that it's really being used as slander against the organization. But then when you look at Planned Parenthood...
all you need to do is watch the 30 seconds of her saying, we sell body parts.
Well, the thing is, there is no defense, because when you look at their defense of themselves, in a letter to Congress, they stated that it's allowed through a loophole and an extensive that allows for reimbursement, which means that they're getting some of the money back that went into the procedure. But in my mind, does it matter if they're making a profit or if they're making money? I don't see a difference in that.
Right.
So just because it doesn't pay for more than the procedure, it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want dead babies being sold, no matter what side of abortion you're on.
No, it's a morality issue.
I don't think you can agree that a piece of a person is for sale.
No.
And I think even
our U.S. law says that it's illegal. But these are the facts that we're putting out for you on Planned Parenthood, and we hope you enjoyed our video, and please like and subscribe and leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Thanks.